Welcome to Daily English Dialogues channel, where we take a deep dive into the language that shapes our world.
And today, we are diving deep into something quite fundamental, I think, to English conversation, the weather.
Ah, yes. The great British obsession, some might say. But it's true, isn't it? It's the go-to conversation starter.
It absolutely is, especially, as you say, in places like the UK, where it's just so changeable. You need a vocabulary for it because it's always doing something.
Exactly. And that's our mission today, really. For you, the advanced English learner, it's about moving past the basics. Saying it is rainy just doesn't cut it, does it?
Not if you want true fluency. No, we need to elevate the conversation. So we've looked at quite a range of sources, guides on advanced phrasal verbs, cultural takes on idioms, even psychological stuff about how weather affects us, and literary examples too.
Right. The goal is to equip you with that richer lexicon. We're talking phrasal verbs, idioms, specific nouns for conditions, for feelings. It's about capturing the whole emotional and maybe even narrative context of rain and cold.
We want you to be able to express not just what the sky looks like, but what it feels like to be in that weather or looking out at it. It's about nuance.
Okay, let's get started. We're better to begin than with those building blocks of fluency.
Phrasal verbs.
Yes, phrasal verbs. They're critical, they're concise, very action-focused, and the key thing really is that so many of them have dual meanings.
Dual meanings. How so?
Well, one meaning is literal, often related directly to the weather phenomenon, and the other is figurative, applying to human emotions, situations, life events.
Ah, I see. And mastering that duality is kind of the secret sauce for sounding more natural.
Precisely. It shows you understand how the language uses the physical world metaphorically. We've actually grouped the key ones from our sources into three themes to make it clear.
Okay, sounds good. What's the first theme?
Let's start with wind and storm intensity. These verbs capture movement, sudden changes, or sometimes things calming down.
Right. Give us an example. Okay, first up, blow away. Literally, simple enough. The wind physically moves something. Hold on to your hat, it might blow away.
Okay, easy. But the figurative meaning.
That's the one you hear constantly. It means to be incredibly impressed or astonished by something. Like, her performance just blew me away. You're using the force of wind to express that overwhelming feeling.
Got it. Powerful. What's next?
Then there's blowover. Literally, a storm passes. The wind dies down.
Okay.
But figuratively, it's about temporary problems or controversies. If you say, the office argument eventually blew over, it means the situation resolved itself, it passed without lasting damage, like waiting for a storm cloud to pass.
So it implies a kind of natural resolution through time.
Exactly. Then it's more aggressive relative, blow up.
Okay.
Literally, a sudden, maybe violent increase in wind. A storm blew up without warning.
And figuratively. I can guess this one.
Probably. It means to suddenly get very angry, explode, essentially. He just blew up when they changed the plan. It captures that sudden, intense burst of emotion like a weather front hitting.
Okay, that makes sense. Any others in this wind cluster?
One more key one, pickup. This is about gradual increase. The wind doesn't just appear, it starts gently and then it picks up strength.
So it emphasizes the change, the gradient.
Yes, and we use this all the time for non-weather things too. Momentum. You might say business started to pick up in the second quarter. It shows that gradual increase in activity or speed.
Right. I can see how that duality works across these. Very useful. What's the second cluster?
This group is about temperature fluctuation and transformation, how things get hotter or colder, and how we use that for emotions too.
Okay, like.
Heat up, obviously the temperature rising. The day really started to heat up around noon.
And figuratively.
Rising tensions,
Ooh.
arguments. Negotiations began to heat up as the deadline approached. It suggests that slow build towards a boiling point.
Okay. And cooling down.
Yes, but there's a subtle difference here between cool down and cool off. This is quite important for advanced use.
Oh, the difference.
Well, cool down is more general. The temperature drops, or someone calms down from anger. Let him cool down for a bit. It's about the reduction of heat or emotion.
Right.
Cool off often implies returning to a comfortable state after being hot, maybe from exercise or from being very agitated. It's more about achieving comfort and equilibrium. The players took a break to cool off. There's a sense of relief in cool off.
Ah, okay. So cool down is the process. Cool off is more the pleasant result after being overheated.
That's a good way to put it. And on the cold side, we have freeze over.
Like a pond in winter.
Exactly. Water becoming solid ice. The lake finally froze over so we can go skating, figuratively. Well, you could talk about relationships. Things seem to freeze over between them, implying coldness, lack of communication, stillness.
A very chilly image. Okay, what's the third cluster of phrasal verbs?
This one is about precipitation and cessation. So rain starting, stopping, or its effects.
Starting with the obvious one for heavy rain.
Pour down. Your immediate upgrade from it's raining heavily. Use pour down. It suddenly started pouring down and we got soaked. Emphasizes volume and intensity.
Got it. Pour down and stopping.
Dry up. Literally water evaporating. A puddle dries up.
But figuratively, this sounds interesting.
It is. It means the end of something, often resources or conversation. Investment in the project completely dried up. Or, maybe more relatable, after 5 minutes, the conversation just dried up. That awkward silence when you've run out of things to say.
Oh, I know that feeling. Dried up. That's a great description.
Isn't it? Then 2 verbs related to the impact of rain on plans. Rain off and snow in.
Okay, rain off.
This means an event, usually outdoors like a cricket match or a picnic, is canceled because of rain. The school sports day was rained off. It's very specific to cancellations due to rain.
Right. And snow in.
That's about being trapped, unable to leave somewhere because of heavy snow. We were snowed in at the mountain cabin for 3 days. It highlights how weather can restrict your movement.
Very practical verbs. Any more in this cluster?
Just 2 more, linking weather to mood. Brighten up and cloud over.
Ah, these seem intuitive.
They are. The sky brightens up, the sun comes out, and often a person's mood brightens up too. They become happier.
And the opposite.
Cloud over. The sky gets cloudy, dark, and a person's face or mood can cloud over when they hear bad news or become sad or worried. Her expression clouded over when she heard the results. It's a visual link between the sky and inner feeling.
That's a really powerful image. These phrasal verbs with their dual meanings really do show how deeply weather is embedded in the language of emotion and daily life.
It's fundamental, which actually leads us nicely into our next section. We need to talk more directly about those internal states, the emotions evoked by weather, particularly rain.
Okay, section 2, the subtle language of emotion and shelter. So we're moving from the verbs describing the weather to the words describing our reaction to it.
Exactly. Let's start with the positive side, the feeling of comfort when it's nasty outside. The main word everyone knows is cozy.
Right, feeling warm, comfortable, safe indoors, snuggled up.
Yes. But the sources introduced a much more specific, nuanced term, chrysalism.
Chrysalism, like a chrysalis, the butterfly thing.
Precisely that image. It's defined as that specific feeling of amniotic tranquility, that deep coziness and security you feel when you're indoors during heavy rain or a thunderstorm.
Wow. So it's not just cozy. It's cozy because of the storm outside. The contrast creates the feeling.
Exactly. The sound, the rain, the wind, it creates this kind of protective bubble. The source mentions someone sitting in their car during a downpour, reading, feeling this immense relief and safety because they were sheltered from the chaos outside. That's chrysalism.
That's fascinating. A very specific feeling needing a specific word. Is this related to the Danish idea of hygge? I hear that a lot.
It's related, yes, but distinct. Hygge is broader. It's a Danish cultural concept about creating a warm atmosphere, enjoying the good things in life with good people, or even alone. It's about intentional comfort, conviviality, contentment.
So you can create hygge anytime.
Pretty much. You can strive for a Hygge atmosphere on a sunny day. But chrysalism, well, that specifically requires the bad weather outside to create that intense feeling of indoor safety and peace. It's reactive, whereas hygge is more proactive.
That's a great distinction. Okay, so that's the cozy side. What about the flip side? When the weather gets you down.
Ah, yes, the gloomy feeling. That sense of sadness, low energy, maybe apathy, that can set in when it's just dark and gray for days on end.
I think many people recognize that. Feeling a bit sluggish, wanting to stay in bed.
Definitely. The sources mention related feelings too, just feeling lazy, sleepy, bored, maybe a bit tired when the rain seems endless. It's a common psychological response to lack of sunlight and persistent bad weather.
But it's not always negative, is it? Sometimes rainy days can feel different.
True. It's not always gloom. Rain can foster introspection. Soft, gentle rain can feel romantic, making you think of someone special, or just encourage quiet contemplation.
Or trigger memories.
Yes. Nostalgia is a big one. You know that smell, the smell of rain hitting dry earth. Petrichor, it's called. That scent can be incredibly evocative, taking you right back to childhood, maybe slashing in puddles.
I know that smell. So these feelings, cozy, gloomy, nostalgic, They often lead to specific activities, don't they? Ways we cope or embrace the mood.
Absolutely. The sources highlighted common rainy day rituals, things like settling in to watch movies or binge watch a TV series, comfort viewing.
Or reading a good book, maybe?
Definitely. Reading is classic. Or listening to music, often something mellow like jazz or ambient stuff, that complements the sound of the rain.
And for the more introspective types.
Journaling came up, using the quiet time to write, reflect, process thoughts.
Makes sense. And what about food and drinks? That seems crucial for coziness.
Oh, absolutely universal. Making hot drinks, fancy teas, good coffee, rich hot chocolate, and often baking. Cookies, cakes, something sweet and comforting. It's sensory, warmth, smell, taste. It all contributes to that hig or just general well-being when stuck indoors.
It really shows how intertwined our emotional state, our routines, and the weather are. Which I guess is why we have so many idioms about it.
Exactly. Which brings us neatly to section 3. Idioms. This is where rain often means anything but actual water. Mastering these is vital for sounding native.
Right, because you can't guess the meaning from the words themselves.
Yep.
They're linguistic shortcuts, really.
They are, and particularly in English, where, as we said, people talk about the weather constantly, these figurative uses are everywhere. Let's break down some key ones.
Okay, hit me with the first one.
A classic promise. Come rain or shine.
Meaning.
It means you'll do something no matter what happens, regardless of any difficulties, not just weather. Don't worry, I'll be at your graduation come rain or shine. It signals absolute commitment.
Okay, solid promise. Next.
The slightly pessimistic one, it never rains, but it pours. Or the American way, when it rains, it pours.
This means when one bad thing happens, lots of bad things seem to happen all at once.
Precisely. Misfortune loves company, basically. And the fascinating thing is, you can say this on a perfectly sunny day. It's purely about a cluster of negative events, not actual rain. It validates that feeling of being overwhelmed.
Right, it's about the pattern of bad luck. Okay, what about saving?
Save it for a rainy day. This is straightforward financial advice, mostly. Save money or resources now for a time in the future when you might unexpectedly need it. An emergency fund is saving for a rainy day.
Practical. Now, you mentioned a paradox earlier, an idiom where rain means something good.
Yes, right, as rain. This means feeling perfectly healthy and well. If someone asks how you are after you've been ill, you might say, "Oh, I'm right as rain now, thanks."
It seems so counterintuitive. Why rain for health?
The thinking is it might connect to older ideas of right meaning balanced, or maybe the life-giving, essential quality of rain for crops. Pure, necessary, balanced, therefore healthy. It's a bit obscure, but the meaning is totally positive.
Okay, right as rain, healthy, got it. What about invitations?
Take a rain check. This is your polite way to decline an invitation now, but express hope to accept it later. I can't make dinner tonight, but can I take a rain check?
And this came from baseball.
Apparently so. From the U.S., late 1800s, if a game was rained out, they gave fans a rain check, a ticket for a future game. The phrase stuck for any postponed offer. Very useful phrase.
Definitely. Okay, two more.
Yes. To rain on someone's parade. This means to spoil someone's plans or dampen their enthusiasm for something they were excited about.
You can really picture a sad, wet parade.
Exactly. If you tell someone all the bad things that could go wrong with their exciting new business idea, you're kind of raining on their parade.
Okay, and the last one, the really dramatic one.
The classic, raining cats and dogs, simply means raining extremely heavily, torrential rain.
Where on earth did that come from? Cats and dogs?
Nobody knows for sure. There are theories, maybe linked to old mythologies, or, as one source suggested, a poem by Jonathan Swift from 1710 that described drains overflowing and washing dead animals into the streets after a storm. Grim stuff.
Yikes. Okay, maybe let's not dwell on that. But the phrase itself just means very heavy rain.
That's all you need to know for usage, yes. It's purely about intensity. So you see, rain in idioms can mean certainty, health, bad luck clusters, postponement, disappointment. It's incredibly flexible.
It really is. It's like the weather provides this whole ready-made metaphorical toolkit.
Which allows us to explore how weather functions not just in idioms, but as a real force in stories and in life. That's section 4. Weather as a narrative force.
Looking at how weather drives plots or influences decisions.
Exactly. Let's start with literature. Ray Bradbury's All Summer in a Day is an incredible example. The setting is Venus, where it rains constantly for 7 years.
7 years of nonstop rain, that's hard to even imagine.
Bradbury makes you feel it. The source highlighted his language, thousands upon thousands of days compounded and filled with rain. The drum and gush of water, storms so heavy they were tidal waves. The rain isn't just background, it's an oppressive defining force.
And it has a huge psychological impact on the children.
Absolutely. They can't remember the sun except maybe vaguely like a yellow crayon. And Margot, the girl who does remember it from Earth, is traumatized by the water itself. She screams when forced to shower. The constant rain has shaped their entire reality and psychology.
Until rain stops, just for an hour.
And the change is profound. First, silence. Immense and unbelievable silence. Then the sun comes out, flaming bronze. The jungle, usually gray and lifeless, explodes with color and growth. It shows how powerfully weather descriptions can create atmosphere and trigger deep human responses: fear, longing, overwhelming joy.
That's a really potent example.
Yeah.
How does this translate to real life, maybe travel?
Well, first, there's that cultural habit we mentioned, especially in Britain, of talking about weather almost like it's alive, personification.
You mean saying things like the sun's trying its best to come out?
Exactly. Or it looks like it's finally decided to rain. We give it intentions. It makes the weather an active participant in our daily narrative, which is interesting.
And how does this affect travel planning? People usually avoid rainy seasons.
They often do, especially tourists heading to places like Southeast Asia during the monsoon. They fear their whole holiday will be a washout.
And is that fear justified?
Well, the sources acknowledge potential downsides. Yes, there's a risk of sudden, heavy downpours. There can be localized flooding, and in extreme rare cases, it can be dangerous, like the floods in China mentioned in one source, highlighting the need for caution.
There are upsides.
Big upsides, according to the analysis, for the more adventurous or budget-conscious traveler. Firstly, fewer tourists. Way fewer, which means less crowded sites, a more relaxed vibe.
And probably cheaper prices.
Definitely. Fewer customers mean vendors, hotels, tour operators are more competitive with pricing. You can get better deals.
Okay, fewer people, lower costs. What else?
This scenery. This was emphasized. The rain transforms the landscape. Everything becomes incredibly lush. Green words like verdant and fertile were used. Waterfalls that might be trickles in the dry season become spectacular.
So visually, it could be more impressive.
Yes. And the crucial point is that it usually doesn't rain all day, every day. The pattern is often short, intense downpours, torrential rain, followed by sunshine.
Ah, so it's not constant drizzle.
Not typically. And those storms can be quite dramatic: thunder, lightning, maybe a rainbow afterwards. Plus, the rain often clears the air and brings a welcome, cool breeze. It adds, as one source put it, drama to the experience.
So reframing the rainy season not as a disaster, but as a different, potentially more rewarding experience.
If you're prepared for it and embrace it, yes, it requires adjusting expectations, but the payoff can be significant.
Okay, we've covered rain inside and out, literally and figuratively. What about the other extreme? Cold weather. That needs its own vocabulary, too.
Absolutely. Section 5, Beyond Rain Mastering Cold Weather Vocabulary. This is about the specific language for winter conditions, gear, and how nature copes.
Let's start with gear. We all wear hats and gloves, but there are nuances, right?
There are, especially with handwear. We need to differentiate mittens from gloves.
Okay, what's the difference?
Gloves have individual sheaths for each finger and the thumb. Mittens have one space for the thumb and then one larger compartment for the other four fingers together.
And why choose one over the other?
Mittens are generally warmer because your fingers share warmth, but they offer less dexterity. You can't easily handle keys or your phone in mittens. They're often seen as more for children, perhaps, or for very cold conditions where warmth is the absolute priority.
Okay, gloves for dexterity, mittens for maximum warmth. What other gear?
Well, you have your scarf around the neck, a hat or beanie, toque, depending on region, for the head, and then earmuffs, which just cover the ears, often looking a bit like headphones without the electronics.
Right, and the source mentioned the downside of all these layers.
Yes, the classic problem. You bundle up to go outside, but then you go indoors, into a shop, onto a bus, and you immediately start overheating. And walking with multiple bulky layers can sometimes feel a bit awkward, maybe like a penguin, as the source amusingly put it.
Huh. I can relate to that. Okay, gear covered. What about describing winter conditions themselves, beyond just cold or snowy?
We need precision. We know sunny spells, maybe light drizzle, but for cold, we have hard frost, where the grass looks white.
And ice.
Yes, sometimes rain freezes as it falls, giving us hailstones. Or you might get sleet, which is a kind of slushy mix of rain and snow. And then there's the dangerous black ice on roads, that thin, transparent layer that's almost invisible.
Very hazardous. What about severe conditions?
You might hear about blizzard conditions, which implies heavy snow combined with strong winds, reducing visibility, or gale force conditions, focusing specifically on very high wind speeds. And the opposite extreme of rain, a long period without any, is a drought.
Okay, good range of precise terms there. How does nature handle this, animals and plants?
Two main strategies for animals highlighted were hibernation and migration.
Hibernation is like a deep sleep.
Exactly. Animals like bears or squirrels enter a state of drastically reduced metabolic activity. Lower body temperature, slow breathing, living off stored fat reserves to survive the winter when food is scarce.
And migration.
That's the journey. Many birds, like geese or swallows, fly south, sometimes thousands of miles, to find warmer climates and food sources. They follow established migratory routes. Their departure and return are big seasonal markers.
Right. And plants, they can't migrate or hibernate in the same way.
No. Many plants enter a state of dormancy. It's like their version of deep sleep. Deciduous trees famously lose their leaves defoliation to conserve water and energy.
But evergreen trees stay green. How?
They have adaptations. Their needles often have a thick, waxy outer layer, a cuticle, which helps prevent water loss and protect against freezing damage, allowing them to survive the winter with their needles intact.
Fascinating adaptations. So from phrasal verbs to hibernation, we've really covered a lot of ground on the language of weather.
We have. We've synthesized quite an advanced lexicon, hopefully moving you beyond basic descriptions to understanding the emotional weight, the cultural idioms, the narrative power, and even the science embedded in how we talk about weather.
And the payoff for you, the listener.
Applying these nuances, using a word like chrysalism, knowing when to say blow over versus blow up, distinguishing sleet from hail, this is what enhances fluency instantly. It shows a deeper command of English expression.
We really hope you feel better equipped now. So here's a challenge to put this into practice. Try writing a short paragraph, maybe a mini story, about an unexpected weather event, real or imagined.
Yes, and in that paragraph, try to use at least one weather phrasal verb we discussed, one figurative idiom like right as rain or raining cats and dogs, and describe the emotional state it created using a specific term, perhaps chrysalism or feeling gloomy.
It's a great way to synthesize and activate the vocabulary.
Absolutely. What this deep dive really shows is how incredibly adaptive language is. English has evolved this rich, complex system to describe, discuss, react to, and even sometimes embrace the sheer unpredictability of the weather.
Whether that's inventing a word like chrysalism for a specific feeling, or finding the advantages in traveling smack bang into the monsoon season.
So the final thought for you to consider is, what part of nature's or maybe even life's unpredictability have you learned to embrace, perhaps through the language you use to describe it?
Something to reflect on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.